Hey guys, I'm making a little bit of format change to the patch notes videos. I'm going to start putting gameplay in the background instead of you just staring at my face for the whole video, just so there's a little bit more engagement there, as well as there might be some audio issues in today's video. I've kind of worked those out already and it'll be fixed for the next video. But anyway, let's get right into the patch notes. Today we're going over the patch notes for Valorant version 1.02. Competitive mode finally goes live in this patch. And the most obvious change with ranked is that the top rank is now Radiant instead of Valorant, which is great. Having the top rank be the same name as the game is kind of stupid. Today we get some agent changes as well, with Viper, Jett, Reyna, and Cypher all getting changes to them, as well as some smoke tuning. We get some weapon updates in the form of Bucky's right click being changed. The competitive rank, like I said, gets introduced in this update. We have some map changes to Haven, Ascent, Bind, and Split, and some HUD changes, quality of life updates, mode updates, performance changes, bug fixes, and a couple of known issues. So first of all, with those agent updates, Viper's toxic screen now burns through walls, placing emitters at all valid locations, example on the ground, over its length. Viper's toxic screen is a potentially strong vision slicing tool, but its access was, well, terrible, making it only useful in a few spots on most maps. This should allow Viper to cut up sites, maps, and other unique areas to either fake or help take ground. Viper's snake bite taking damage will make the player fragile for a short amount of time. Fragile is a debuff that increases damage taken. A note with Viper's snake bite is that the total amount of damage taken by players when they walk through it is unchanged. The damage dealt is lowered, but with Fragile, it increases, evening everything out. With Viper applying Decay on her smokes, but only providing moderate chip damage in her area damage skill, pushing through it was hard to punish. With Fragile, Viper's team should have a big advantage on anyone if they fire on pushing enemies. Viper's Poison Orb activation cooldown has increased from 0.5 seconds to 6 seconds. We like Viper's unique ability to do one-way smokes, but some of the locations could create places where it was a suicide to push through. An increased window should keep this viable without eliminating the strategy. Reyna's Soul Orbs are now spawned when Reyna kills Phoenix during Run It Back. Cypher changes include a fixed issue where Spy Cam blocked Spike Defusal, fixed an issue where players could place a Cyber Cage on a tripwire, added prevention for Spy Cam going through teleporter doors on Bind when placed on the frame from the outside, and then smoke tuning. Adjusted tuning around screen effects when exiting and entering smokes, decreased the blind fall off value, and decreased nearsighted intensity. The previous tuning for smokes made it far too punishing for players to push through and take a calculator risk, really encouraging that we use as a powerful defensive stall tool. Pushing through a smoke will still be risky, just more reasonable. The weapon updates just include the Bucky today, with its right click being tuned slightly. Crouch walking accuracy has gone from 3.45 to 4.1, walk accuracy has gone from 6.4 to 4.4, and run accuracy has gone from 3.5 to 6.4. We discovered an accidental discrepancy in how we were applying movement inaccuracy to the Bucky's right click. One we introduced during closed beta when we added a delay for players to receive walking accuracy when slowing down from a running state. This was making it so that way the right click was much more accurate on run than intended. We fixed this now so that way running with the right click is significantly more inaccurate than walking or standing still. We've also increased the inaccuracy for crouch walking to more appropriately match the amount of evasion it provides. And in this patch, competitive mode will be made available. Changes since the closed beta include updated rank iconography, new name for top rank, Radiant, and expanded still disparity range for playing with friends and ranked placements. Map updates include Haven, garage doors, entrance to C long on attacker side, cover in A lobby restructured to open up the space, which allows for additional sightlines and traversal options. C-Link, A-Link, the entrance to A sewer and the bottom of A sewer have all been changed. On Ascent, defender spawn entrance has been changed. Attacker side of A main, including a self-boost to gain an additional angle to peek A main as an attacker has been changed, and garden entrance has been changed. Bind, A bath entrance, and B teleporter exit and B window entrance have been changed slightly. Split has had the defender spawn slightly changed. They're peeling back on the amount of locations that require ability usage through angle checking or teamwork to clear safely. The intention is that angles that are more difficult to clear are most commonly found in areas meant to reinforce existing territory control. This is to emphasize ability usage and teamwork in order to reliably gain control of these locations. An added benefit is that this encourages ability usage and combat engagements to be spread out across the map, which can help prevent the frequency of scenarios where all of the players expand all of their abilities and ultimates in the same place at the same time. We'll continue monitoring how maps are playing and make adjustments as necessary. In this update, HUD and UI has been slightly modified. We've included a set of menu UI changes as part of our ongoing work to clarify the client experience coming out of closed beta. This is only a small portion of the improvements, but should push overall usability in a positive direction. Navigation and UI changes are disruptive, so we appreciate your patience adjusting to the new approach, and we hope you'll find the changes to be upgrades after you settle it. All main section views now have a back button in the upper left to return to the home view. Pressing escape is also supported. All detail views, gun details, player cards, match details, etc. have been converted to use the same back button in the upper left instead of a close button in the upper right. Small pop-up dialogues still use the close button in the upper right where appropriate. Slide out options menu removed from the logo button in the upper left. New options button added to the upper right, which opens the menu with settings, support, about, leave match, and exit to desktop buttons. Circle progress elements for battle pass and active contract removed from navigation. Missions element remains throughout the experience. Navigation reordered to accommodate the changes. Exit to desktop flow converted to a single button with a pop-up that allows a player to exit or sign out and exit. The leave match button is now displayed at all time, but will be locked in cases where leaving a match is not allowed. Previously, the button was missing completely when leaving was not allowed, which looked like a bug rather than a restriction. Added a setting that allows players to always display the inventory in the lower right of the HUD. Added a new HUD element that tells you when you haven't spawned in due to being AFK. Added Battle Pass text button in the nav to make it easier to find. Added small progress bar below text that shows progress for current level of the pass. Hovering Battle Pass in the nav shows a peek flyout of upcoming pass rewards. Clicking either goes to a new Battle Pass section. Moved Agents section out from under Collection to make it easier to find and to provide a home for contract progress in the nav. Added small progress bar below text that shows progress for current level of the active contract. Hovering Agents in the nav shows a peek of upcoming contract rewards. Clicking Agents goes to the Agent selection, and clicking the contract flyout navigates to Agents and opens the associated contract details. Quality of life improvements. A big update with this is an early surrender option has been added. You can now opt to surrender out of a match ahead of the match's completion if you do not want to continue playing. We will also be adding some light polish and functionality in future patches post 1.02. You can call early surrender vote by typing /FF, forfeit, concede, or surrender. An early surrender vote requires all present players on the surrendering team to vote yes to pass. You can vote via /yes or /no, along with the settings F5 and F6, which are the default binds. Each team can only call a vote once per half. Early surrender votes cannot be called before reaching round 8. Once a vote is called, the vote option will be queued to vote on for the next round. If you call the vote early enough in the buy phase, you can vote immediately. The winning team gets round credit for every round necessary to bring them up to the victory condition. The surrendering team will get a loss credit for each round necessary to bring them up to 13 rounds. Added a setting that allows players to permanently mute text from enemy players. Update to tagging. The slowdown effect when hit by enemy fire has been changed slightly. The effect of tagging on movement speed has been reduced. The tagging movement speed reduction of standard is gone from 80% to 70%. Tagging movement speed reduction when behind a wall, so when you shoot somebody behind a wall, movement penalty has been decreased from 35% to 25%, and increased the time it takes to reach desired slow amount when tagged by 100%. Tagging is intended to reward the player with better positioning in the player that successfully lands the shot on the enemy first. When tagged, you will now more gradually transition to the reduced tagging speed. In addition, the reduced tagging speed is slightly more forgiving. If you are positioned close to cover, this should allow you to potentially escape when tagged more frequently than before. Also, the effect of being tagged should feel less jarring, especially when playing with higher ping. Tagging through walls has been further reduced, which should enable reliable escapes when being shot through walls. Mode updates: Spike Rush, new orb type, Tracer Orb. Team-wide buff that grants 2 times wall penetration and reveals enemies for 0.75 seconds when they're hit. Duration, entire round. Speed boost changed to combat stim. Movement speed and durations have been unchanged. Reload time decreased by 30%. Weapon jaw time decreased by 30%. Spread recovery time decreased by 30%. Rate of fire increased by 30%. And jump force increased by 25%. Plague Orb now shares a pool with Paranoia Orb. Only one of these will be chosen per game. Only one Plague Orb can spawn per round. And health reduced decreased from 90 to 50. Deception Orb now shares a pool with Plague Orb. Only one of these will be chosen per game, just like the Paranoia Orb. and only one deception orb can spawn per round. Duration decreased from 10 seconds to 8 seconds, now matches the plague orb. Tunnel vision decreased by 20%, meaning you see more on your screen. Practice mode, Reyna killing practice bots now properly spawns soul orbs. Jet killing practice bots now properly refreshes Bladestorm. Performance updates in this patch, the team primarily focused on smoothing out frame rates in certain scenarios. Mostly this helps out mid to higher spec machines. Optimized a worst-case performance scenario that occurred when multiple players are moving close to one another. Optimized the multi-kill streak banners. Optimized player health bars. Optimized creation of pings, Z-ping, ping wheel, and when an ally dies, etc. Optimized spawn barrier audio causing periodic frame rate dips. And 1.01 hotfix resolved an issue that was causing low memory systems with slow hard drives to perform especially poorly in-game. The bug fixes within this update include levels 2, 4, 7 for the Sovereign Ghost skin are now fixed and unlockable again. As we've stated, we never intended for skins to be a pay-to-win or pay-to-lose. In this case, the Sovereign Ghost was playing unsilenced audio in third person on levels 2 through 7, so it was totally pay-to-lose, and we didn't want any of you to experience that. It's fixed now, so go ahead and upgrade to enjoy your custom effects, finisher, kill banner, and variants. Fixed toggle walk, you can once again use this setting. Fixed the return from AFK message only displaying the name of the last player to rejoin. Fixed an issue where the diffuse bar would duplicate itself. Fixed several localization strings and text overlaps. Fixed several crashes. Fixed a bug where the spike could automatically plant when you walked onto a plant site when it was in your inventory. Fixed a bug where the spike would float in the air if it had been placed on a sage wall. Fixed a bug where the dropped spike's model could be invisible to defenders while it was on the ground. Fixed a bug where your gun buddies were squished on the arsenal page. Fixed a bug where trying to open the character select UI while the mega map and shooting range would result in a deadlock. Improved GPU performance of most out-of-game menu screens. Fixed a bug where sometimes players got stuck on the transition into game and never successfully transitioned into game. Fixed a bug where the spread on the Bucky's alt fire was higher when walking than it was when running or standing still. Fixed a bug where dead players could appear standing when you reconnected to a match. Fixed a bug where you could get stuck grabbing orbs. Fixed a bug where enemy players would appear on the mini-map while watching the spike once your team was dead. And known issues in this update are competitive match overtime on this patch will be resolved using sudden death, which we know is intrinsically unfair. We're actively working on replacing this with a more fair solution. We've discovered an issue with our routing software causing some players in Sweden to be incorrectly placed in our Istanbul game servers, and this is likely causing a small number of players elsewhere to also end up in incorrect game servers. The fix is deployed to our Stockholm networking gear, and we're deploying the fix globally this week. And that is all for patch 1.02. I hope you guys have fun playing competitive this week. I will be hopping on as soon as this patch is live to play competitive on my Twitch. The link will be in the description and also in the pinned comment. I hope to see you guys there.